A different society. Today, most people associate the idea of everyone doing whatever he wants with chaos and death, and associating everyone being obedient and law abiding with order and civilization. Without the authority myth, however, people would have a very different mindset. Without an authority to blindly follow and obey, without being able to whine to the powers that be to fix everything, people would have to figure out for themselves what is right and wrong and how to solve problems. Some might claim that human beings are too short sighted, lazy, and irresponsible to run their own lives, but it is precisely the belief in authority that has allowed them to become so lazy and helpless. As long as they believed that making things right was not their job, that fixing problems was not their job, and all they needed to do was obey their masters, acting as unthinking pawns in someone else's master plan, they had no need to grow up. But shedding the superstition forces one into the position of realizing that there is nothing on earth above him, which means that he is responsible for his own actions or inaction. He is the one whose job it is to make the world a better place. He is the one who has to make society work. There's certainly all There are certainly already statists who are trying to make a positive difference, but more often than not, their belief in authority converts their good intentions into evil actions, perverts their compassion into violence, and turns their productivity into the fuel of oppression. For example, many people who join the armed forces start with the noble goal of defending their countrymen from hostile foreign aggressors, and many of whom become police officers do so with the intention of helping people and protecting the good people from the bad people. However, once they become agents of the mythical beast known as government, they immediately cease to be advocates of their own values and their own perceptions of right and wrong, and instead become enforcers of the arbitrary whims of politicians. In every government in history, those purporting to be defenders have quickly, if not immediately, transformed into aggressors. The first act of almost every regime is to impose some sort of taxation to forcibly rob its subjects, usually under the asinine excuse that it must do so in order to be able to protect the people against robbers. This is therefore ironic that so many people accept the idea that government is the only entity capable of protecting the good from the wicked. In truth, only in the absence of the superstition of authority can the good intentions of the would-be protectors and defenders actually serve humanity. A private militia, for example, formed for the purpose of defending a certain population against foreign invaders, which is not imagined by its members or by anyone else to have any special authority whatsoever, will be guided by the personal conscience of each individual member. Such an organization can be extremely effective means of exerting justified defensive force while being immune to the usual corruptibility of authoritarian protection rackets. A private militia member who did not suffer from the authority delusion could not and would not ever use the excuse of just following orders to try to deny responsibility for his own actions. If he uses violence, he and everyone around him knows that he personally made the choice and that he is personally responsible for it and should personally be held accountable for his actions. In short, the only time a private non-authoritarian militia could become oppressive is if every individual in it personally chose to act that way. In contrast, government militaries can become quite oppressive as the result of even one genuinely malicious person in the chain of command if those beneath him have been effectively trained to faithfully follow orders. Without the myth of authority, not everyone will accept responsibility or charitably. But when each person accepts that he is in charge of himself, it is far less likely that good people will be doing the bidding of evil people, as happens constantly now by way of the belief in authority. Statists are often afraid of what some individuals may do if not restrained by government. What they should fear, however, is that those individuals may do what those individuals may do if they become government. The amount of damage which one hostile, malicious individual can do by himself is nothing compared to the damage that one hostile, malicious authority figure can do by way of obedient but otherwise good people. To put it another way, if evil was only committed by evil people, the world would be a far better place than it is today, with basically good people constantly committing evil acts because a perceived authority told them to.